We made it, everybody. Let's kibitz about it right now. By the way, as we jump into it here, by the way, thank you to everybody following along on Football America. Subscribe, YouTube, wherever you find your audio podcasts. Right now, there's a poll up there for who should be America's team 2025. Like I say, if we can have a new American Idol every year, we can certainly have a new America's team for our favorite pastime. Speaking of which, Kevin Hench, your Pro Football Collective just bid adieu to Cole Strange. Now that's I don't know how that makes you feel, but then as we've been covering here, the Rafi Devers experience has sunk the Giants, so you must be a mixed bag of emotions. How are you?
Well, I'm great. I mean, those are both positives. I mean, you have to move on. Cole Strange was not a bad teammate by like he wasn't a bad guy who refused to play first base. I mean, Rafi Devers had to go. He was a pouting baby who refused to help the team. So fuck off. Like that was easy. And I was fighting with everybody. They're like, we didn't get anything in return. I'm like, they took that whole terrible contract. He's a fucking asshole. He can't play third base. Like, what the fuck? And then the fact that he just sucked and they sucked. And the Red Sox are second in the American League with 662 runs scored. The only thing he does is drive in runs. We've scored 662 runs. The Giants have scored 530 runs, 13th in the National League. The utter vindication of fuck off asshole and go enjoy fourth place while we get ready for the playoffs. That was incredible. The Cole Strange thing, obviously a little more bittersweet because of all, like Belichick, I stand by, like, I think he's the greatest coach in organized sports history. The thing you have to remember about his 6 championships as opposed to all of John Wooden's championships is, yeah, John Wooden wasn't playing with a salary cap. Bill Belichick was. Like John Wooden was able to get guys. He was able to get all the best players. So,
well, to be fair and to be exact, he didn't get any of those players or a lot of those players. I can't remember the guy's name, the LA millionaire who bought all those players.
Yeah,
That's the ugly underbelly of the glorious John Wooden years.
Yeah.
Is that what's that guy's name? Rothstein? Or am I thinking of
the point
maybe
is
I'm confusing it
UCLA,
with Casino? But either way.
UCLA had a GM 50 years before it was allowed. Like
that's right.
They basically
NIL. Wait, we've been we're all just getting in on it.
No, of course. Of course they all want to come play here. No, Westwood's beautiful. But anyway, Belichick, so what he did, the 6 titles in a hard salary cap league, amazing. But the crazy part to me, like Belichick, once he gets Trey Flowers or Rob Ninkovich into camp, like he makes guys rich. He makes them into players. Like he transforms careers, but he can't watch college game film and fucking draft a decent, like it's insane. How can you be, walking around practice and know that this guy needs to play in a 3-point stance and we're going to move you, Devin McCourty, we're going to move you to safety. Lawyer Malloy, we're going to cut you. Like it's crazy. His batting average.
But wait a second. Bill Belichick's dog is barking in the background to remind you who was actually the mastermind behind some of those draft picks, right?
Maybe. But so the N'Keal Harry draft pick, the whiff, the unbelievable whiff there.
It's great to go through them one by one.
The 2 tight ends in the same draft, Devin Asiahi and Dalton Keene, like these massive whiffs. And the thing is, like, the thing about Belichick's whiffs is, you whiff on a guy that everybody said was a consensus first round pick. It's like, well, everyone thought Belichick's whiffs are reaches. So you reach, but the Cole Strange reach was the defining moment of Belichick's last 5 drafts, which is the smartest young coach in the NFL laughed out loud on camera when he heard that you took Cole Strange in the first round. He laughed and then caught himself like, oh, Well, we had him projected at 104, and Belichick took him at 29. But it wasn't just that he took him at 29. He traded down. He had the Trent McDuffie slot. He had Trent McDuffie. You can just have an all-pro corner, or you can do that mastermind thing where you trade down to late in the first round and then draft a fourth-round pick with your first-round pick. And by the way, if Cole Strange had been a fourth-round pick, still a bust. Like not. And my buddy Jay Yarrow, who follows he just like, I don't think he literally knows every player at every college. I don't know how he does it, but he said at the Senior Bowl, Cole Strange had a 0.0 blocking score. Like he just got destroyed at the Senior Bowl, and Belichick was like, no. I know. I got it figured out. So, the old man lost it. We'll see how the Tar Heels do. But
by the way, with that, in that moment, now people do the thing, and you definitely, I recall laughing about the Cole Strange pick in the moment, but there were a lot of people, and if you would have said to me, Dave, one of your two thumbs goes away if you get this wrong, who's ultimately going to be proven right about this approach, I would have gone with Belichick. The voodoo he worked on us for 20 years was sufficient to make me think like, okay, if the other 31 teams don't think it's right, how many times do we need to learn this lesson? Obviously, he's the wizard who has it all figured out. I guess we should have known, like you say, when McVay laughed at him. What a hard right turn that is. He gets whipped. He gets owned by Belichick in that Super Bowl. I mean, what was it, like 2 years later? McVay is laughing at him like, the old man's gotten daft.
Well, that's the perfect...
I was just going to say quickly, just to add to Hench's point, Cole Strange obviously gets the headlines because it was the first round pick. But I don't know if you guys have seen this. 9 out of 10 draft picks from that 2022 class, all have been cut within. This is now going into the third season. I believe only Marcus Jones, the DB on the Pats roster, only guy to survive that. So Belichick missed on 9 draft picks in that class.
But that juxtaposition of the holding McVay and Goff to 3 points in the Super Bowl indoors on the fast track, 3 points in a 60-minute NFL game, and then drafting Cole Strange. That is the perfect dichotomy of Bill Belichick. Like, you want him to game plan for Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas. You want him to coach the Super Bowl, but you don't want him to buy the groceries. Do not have him buy the groceries.
He was hamstrung by his own terrible GMing, yes. But now that we're doing the math on this and timeline and everything, is that right around, is the Cole Strange pick around the time where Bill Belichick seeks out some Strange? Is that,
she was what, 14 years old when that draft? How old was she then? 15?
I don't know, but by the way, we do need to switch. How have we gone on for at least 3 minutes here without mentioning the biggest news item in our society? That is, of course, the engagement of Taylor Swift and her boyfriend, Travis Kelce. I am once again struck by, and I'm not a cynic about oh, who cares? I don't personally care, but I find it a very strange thing. One of the greatest on the short list of the things that sort of highlight the spiral downward of our society is that everybody has to weigh in on everything and know everything about everything, and worst of all, let you know that they don't care about whatever's going on. Why do I care if you don't care? I mean, like, this is the Star Wars thing. The best examples are, I don't care about Star Wars. Who gives a shit? Have you noticed that millions of people that do? You don't, then don't weigh in on it. Then stay out of the conversation if you don't care. Like the weighing in of, now, if you want to pick Star Wars apart, I'm here for it. If you are taking to social media or interrupting a conversation elsewhere to announce, I don't care about this, then what the hell? What are we? And the Beatles are a different one. I don't care about the Beatles. A different layer is I hate the Beatles. That's a pretentious ass who needs to let you know that everybody else is wrong. It's a short jump from I don't care to, in fact, they suck. And okay, I think you're just being such a skeptic. You don't like they mastered several genres within rock and roll, but you don't like any of it. None of it is good in your opinion.
Just say you don't like music. You don't like
yeah,
music.
right. I mean, like, so there are 4 different semi-distinct voices in the band. Like, none of them hit once. None of them ever got anything right. That's the craziest. But so I don't care about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Okay, you don't care about it. That's fine. The thing that strikes me about it is that I am always surprised by, no matter what the news story is, by how much it will dominate a news cycle or several news cycles. The one I always think when there's like the worst one of our lifetime is obviously 9/11. That commanded what it's weird to think back as that date approaches again, the anniversary. That was like 3 weeks of just wall-to-wall discussion. I think when you're in we always talk about the frog boiling and all that and being in it. I think we kind of forget what happened. Like we because then it becomes rhetorical as we talk about it. And then you get away, the more you talk about it, the more you lose the visceral feeling you had in the moment. I think we've kind of forgotten how grim that stretch was. I know people can, intellectually absorb it. And then even like COVID, I think people have moved on from what that experience was. I think we all had this weird sort of semi-haze in our head that wasn't owed to COVID, that somehow, what was that, 6 months at least, where we all just stayed in our house? It's like, that was a wild period. But now I'm stunned by that this is this big. This Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's I talk about all you want to. I'm just surprised. I'm not saying I don't care about it. I'm saying, what? Like, everybody has to weigh in on this engagement? I'm just stunned by it, as I was by the largesse of any massive news story. I'm sorry to monologue there. Hench, how say you?
Spaghetti, I kept waiting for an entry point there, and I was like,
we went from Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift to 9/11. I was
like, yeah, that's right.
I'm like,
so and then we got
Shek thinks they were in on it.
Natural progression.
So they did 9/11.
Taylor Swift, Lennon and McCartney, 9/11, Bin Laden, George W. Bush.
Put it on my tombstone. It's gonna have to be a big tombstone, but that's
it. So Taylor Swift takes the private jets, private jet fuel, steel beam. Yeah. I was like, okay.
So
now you guys are being
listen,
silly.
Spaghetti's in on the joke now because he's married. But all this means is that now that they're getting married, like the rest of us, Travis Kelce won't be fucking Taylor Swift.
Now, see, to me, that's darker than anything I just said. See, okay.
That's darker than 9/11. Travis Kelce's penis.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything supportive of it. You understand? I'm just saying.
I could add something. I was shocked. I was shocked at the extreme amount of mega famous people who were posting about their engagement, like Taylor Swift's engagement. Obviously, they care more about Taylor Swift than Travis Kelce. Sorry, Travis. But Caitlin, even in sports, like Caitlin Clark and all the bigger WNBA fans. I mean, even just other actors and actresses who are just have millions and millions and millions of followers. Like, people are posting about it as they know her personally. Like, she is she really talked about the Beatles. Like, that is that the closest thing, like the mania that we've talked about in the past too. But she just has a grasp on not just the country, but the world.
Does it matter at all? We kind of talked about it a couple weeks ago on our last show. Great feedback, by the way. Thank you to everybody who weighed in on YouTube and otherwise for that one. It was nice, by the way. I don't know if you fellas saw it. A lot of people speaking up like, oh, thank goodness you guys are still around, still having these conversations. And great. But I know it doesn't have any actual value, but it is weird. Don't you think that there are more fans now for the Buffalo Bills because of Josh Allen's wife, and double or times 10 for the Chiefs, and now the Ravens have lost some ground as a result of all that?
And also,
we don't know who Lamar Jackson's with, do we? We don't know anything about his personal.
And that the Bills coach is the only one with the guts to use 9/11 as a profile in courage to fire up his team.
That's my guy. No, So, okay, so that leads us neatly. I have issued my picks on Football America. I want to hear yours. I start with you, Kevin Hench. Let's just jump to the end of the novel here before this NFL season kicks off. Your final four.
Jeez.
All right.
Jeez, what, you haven't had all off season to consider this? All of a sudden, this is a stunner to you?
Look, Shek, I'm focused on Notre Dame, Miami. I'm not thinking about Super Bowl right now, but I will think
Well,
about
well,
it.
Are you going to that one, Eddie Spaghetti?
I will be
You're
going
down
to that
there.
one,
You should.
Yeah, I'm going. It's going to be a big
With our
game.
guy Kent Brad.
Yes,
He's
yes,
flying
yes.
down from Wilmerding to be with you to go into the whatever they call that stadium.
Hard Rock.
down
Yeah.
The Hard Rock. Who do you got?
Well, I'm going to start. We'll work bottom to top. I want to hear what you guys think of this. Is probably my largest preseason wager. Is Titans, Saints, Browns, all to finish last, plus 493.
I love it. I love it. And do you know that the books are smart enough? I never put two and two together, the no playoffs for you, and adding up as many of those teams as you possibly can. I only just now have figured out that they prevent you from parlaying a bunch of those teams because it's a certainty just about that the Saints and Browns and I don't know about the Titans. I don't necessarily agree with you about that. I think it requires a certain amnesia that from at least from last season. We remember Jaden Daniels, right? I mean, he completely transformed the fate of a team.
You make the bet and you feel so confident, and then you're watching Cam Ward, and you're like, oh. Is it possible?
Yes, it's possible for him, but Saints, no, they don't have a chance. And the Browns, no, don't have a chance. So if you were to parlay a third team in there, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head who is certainly not going to the postseason, I guess you could grab did you say the Jets? You could grab the Jets too. I don't think it's implausible that they would make a little run. It's just that the AFC, if you start counting the teams, it's hard to find a spot out of 7 for that team. But anyway, you can't parlay all those together because that would otherwise be a gold mine, right? But I like where your head's at. I like that pick. I don't love the Titans, though, in that division because it's some bum teams. And I like the Colts this year, but I can definitely be talked out of the Colts. The Texans, I mean, they'll be better than the Titans. I just can see there's a path for the 4th place team in that atrocious division winning 9 or 10 and that being enough to take the division or at least keep them out of the basement.
What do you think of this bet? AFC South under 30.5 wins.
Okay, let's do the math on that. I got the Colts at about 9 or 10. I got the Texans at about the same.
Wins? For the Colts?
I got the Colts winning the division.
10 games?
9 or 10. Don't forget, there's 17 games.
Daniel Jones.
That's right. Now look, all of a sudden, I'm telling you, his best friend. His best
friend.
How we
lead with this? I mean, yes, I respect it, but Daniel Jones is god awful. Daniel Jones he's a check down machine. They're not going to win 10 games with that.
Lou Anarumo is the secret ingredient. He moves over there. They have some great pieces on defense. I think that is a real high end unit. It will be. And again, I don't know that the Texans did anything to fix that offensive line. I do think Joe Mixon's entire season sounds like it's in jeopardy. That's not a great place to start. The receiving core feels a little light to me. I can pull Coles in the Texans doing that, and then that advantages the Colts, right?
No, I don't think that's a direct equation. I think poke holes in the Texans, but I mean, I think we saw Brian Daboll, by all accounts, is considered a pretty good quarterback coach guy. The best he did with Jones was the 2022 playoff, the road.
Well, that was pretty good, wasn't it?
Vikings
pretty good.
But look at
winning a playoff game was like that. That's a pretty good floor, right?
But then look at his season stats. Look what he did the following year, and then you're also talking about an older Jones with a knee injury, a neck injury that kind of prohibited him from running the ball. That was like when he was useful, when he used to be able to run the play action. He would keep it, what have you. He doesn't do that anymore. He's too slow with his progressions. I mean, he's going to throw if you want to talk about like Jonathan Taylor in fantasy, he's going to have a million checkdowns. That's fine, but I don't see that.
Great defense, pound the ball with Jonathan Taylor.
In the AFC, it's too. I don't.
Well, you
Daniel
guys love.
Jones
Well,
is
you both love Jacksonville. They, you remember how much you loved Jacksonville a year ago, and how
yeah,
well that
yeah.
worked out. So I
Not as
get
much as I
that's
love
what.
the Chargers every year. That's been working out
Oh, I
great.
got good news. I talked to Jeff Schwartz recently, and exciting news: the Chargers are winning the AFC West this year.
Okay, great.
Hmm.
I was
Excited to lose
happy
more
to.
money.
I was
All right,
happy to
my
see that.
final four
Go ahead.
is very chalky. You know, I think the Ravens regress a little bit. So when you're looking at the heavyweights in the AFC, I still think come January, those two quarterbacks, Mahomes and Josh Allen, you just they're going to meet yet again for the AFC Championship. NFC pretty chalky. The defending champs going to the conference title game again in Philly by one possible reach, meeting them in Philly, the Green Bay Packers.
I like the Packers a lot this year, and I also happen to like the San Francisco 49ers, completely slept on, which is weird, but that talk about amnesia, short-term amnesia is a plague, just as everybody who actually team builds in the NFL tries to copycat what they just saw. Fans get amnesia about teams that had a down year, and the Niners have not an easy schedule, not the number one easiest schedule. They have the easiest schedule, however these numbers are concocted, in the last like 8 or 10 years, period. And you're giving that to Shanny and his QB of choice and Brock Purdy. The overstatement about the wide receiver thing has distracted everybody, and Matthew Stafford's really good and all that. The Niners are going to be I think are going to be, I in fact have them in the Super Bowl
Ooh.
at the time of this recording. Eddie Spaghetti, how say you?
It's very funny that I have the same exact Final Four as Hench, and I was going to say my two wrinkles.
Mm.
The Chiefs. We live in a weird world now where you have to like kind of convince people like why the Chiefs will make it to the AFC title game or even the Super Bowl. Like it used to be like you expected it, now you have to explain why. But I think this is Travis Kelce's last season, and I think that he will give it his all in this one. He's going to be a future married guy now, so I think that this and Mahomes will have a chip on his shoulder to get back there. I don't think the Bills you have to explain too much. I think they're in a pretty easy division. I think Josh Allen is just playing MVP ball. In the NFC side, the Eagles are just too good, and I just think that the Packers, with their very young roster, adding Xavier McKinney from the Giants last year, has changed their whole defense. They drafted Matthew Golden, who I think is a sneaky good play for Offensive Rookie of the Year. They definitely needed some wide receiver depth too, so it was a great pick by them. I believe I said in this podcast around this time last year that Jordan Love was my pick to win MVP. I think he'll be in the conversation again this year, so I really like the Packers a lot. So me and Hench are sharing brain.
Well,
Wow.
also the thing we talked about is Jordan Love was hurt, and people talk about the amnesia. People just forget or have erased that entirely as an element
Yeah,
of what
Brazil
happened to
game, yeah.
why they were a little bit down. He got hurt in the first week down in Brazil, so like maybe it only counted for half or something like that in people's heads. But that obviously was a little bit of a plague or for them getting untracked a year ago.
But Jack,
All
you
right.
mentioned the Niners' easy schedule,
Mhm.
which is also part of the reason I bet the AFC South under 30.5 wins is they play the NFC West, and I just don't think there are going to be any
Great.
games in that division.
Yeah. Okay. So let's answer Hench's question here. If you, I guess the swing team, as it were, is the Colts. Like if you're right, if Eddie Spaghetti's right that they're more of like a 5 or 6 win team versus what I am projecting 9 or 10, that'll provide the thumbs up or thumbs down on Hench's proposed bet here. Because if you figure, if I got the Colts and the Texans at around 9, 10 wins each, so let's say 19 total wins there, and then the Jags come in somewhere around 7 or 8, and then so that's that gets us to 27. So like I guess I'm gonna say no to that. I would say they'll
Okay.
go over that because
Yikes.
I don't think the Titans are going to be an atrocity. I think you're kind of depending on the Titans winning 3 or 4 games, right? In that
I hope you're
equation.
wrong. I hope the recent Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud rookie QB thing ends with Cam Ward.
I mean,
it used to be you could guarantee if you put the kid in charge, you were going 3-13. Peyton Manning, is going to go 3-13. Like
that's right. Troy Aikman's the best. Yeah, is maybe the best example. Number one, savior of the team. We did it. We got the other line, 1-15. All right. So Spaghetti, you say you are going this weekend to that, and what a slate of games, Hench. Have you taken a?
It's too strong early on.
If you could only attend one, or let's say it this way, Hench, you can only watch one college football game between now and 2 Saturdays from now. Which one would you choose? You got Texas, Ohio State, which seems spectacular, but then again, that one was spaghetti. That one's so loaded with the history of our lifetime, Catholics versus convicts and everything else.
But I think if you have the opportunity to watch the national championship game, in September, well, you got it, right? I mean, it's like the idea that the number one team in the nation is an underdog. It's such an insane. It feels like a glitch. Like, what are we doing? Why is this game starting the season?
It's really. I feel like this is a terrible example because people get upset when you talk about COVID and injections and all that, but that's the one that comes to mind. It's like we're trying to the efficacy and all of that of something that we don't know, that we haven't had enough time to fully study yet. And the way the college football playoff is structured, and now like the Big Ten wants more teams in and the SEC wants more teams in and all of that. And it still is the same conversation, I guess, to your point. We're just playing at the fringes, Hench, because it's one of 5 teams that's going to win it all. We know that before it all starts. And I don't hate that as much as a lot of people do. But I don't know how to sort of evaluate if it's smart to be Ohio State and Texas playing this game. Is it? I guess you should be playing other high-end teams to start the season. I think that's the message, but I don't know. And whoever loses this game, it doesn't bother me nearly as much as the Chargers and Chiefs playing in Week 1, because that could decide that division. But still, it bothers it. What a funny, as I say that out loud, what a funny inversion. I've always hated Week 1 NFL games that are impactful in the playoff seedings. It feels now like college football Week 1. It's like, whatever, you can lose that game. I mean, the good news,
the good news is with the expanded playoff, your season isn't torpedoed with a loss. When it was 4 teams, they're like, oh well, guys, we had a good run. We made it till September 4th.
I mean, broken record, Dave says for the millionth time. It goes against the nature of the sport. The variation, the one play variation that determines a season and determines legacies and everything else is the fun of football versus 7-game series and everything else. And so you marginalize the impact of those moments when you say, like, yeah, let's put 28 teams into it. Yeah, you know what? Let's have it mirror March Madness. Just put everybody into it. It's like, I mean, you're gonna wind up with some real weird results if you do that. And I guess if your goal is, hey, can we do anybody besides Bama and Georgia and Ohio? Like, if you want that to be the result, I guess that's the way to get there, is to jam it with as many teams as possible. Or then the even more cynical thought of that is like, well, then the playoff will just be a series of terrible games for a couple of rounds. Like, it'll just be what we saw Notre Dame do to the poor Indiana Hoosiers in the first round of the playoff a year ago. Nobody wants to see that again.
True.
I'll just jump in with that game. I mean, I also would pick Texas, Ohio State. I don't think Notre Dame, Miami will be that good of a game to watch. I think Notre Dame will win by double digits for a number of reasons. But with the Texas, Ohio State, like, Ohio State has zero pressure. They're home They're defending champs. Like no one's talking about their quarterback, like Julian Sayin. Have you heard one headline with him? Like everyone's talking about Arch. Arch gave a good quote the other day about like the target in the back, and he has like the red laser on them. But everyone's trying to say, like, is Arch really the future? Is he going to lead this team to the promised land? Because the Texas roster outside of him is very good. But guess what? Ohio State's roster is also very good. And there's a guy named Jeremiah Smith playing on their team, and makes life a lot easier for a quarterback who's a sophomore with not much playing time whatsoever. So I just think that Ohio State, even if they drop this game, and let's just say they get over the Michigan hump this year, like there shouldn't really be a problem for them. Like I think they are better than Penn State and whoever else they have in their Big Ten schedule.
Before I forget my thoughts, sorry to interrupt you. I have a short-term memory, Spaghetti. Is that Ohio State-Texas game going to feature two guys who are not going to be in the 2026 draft, who are better than any player that is going to be in the 2026 draft in Arch and Jeremiah Smith? An interesting narrative, at least. Neither of those guys is going to be in the draft next spring, supposedly. But by the way, as far as that goes, Hench, I'm sorry to
you're probably right.
sidetrack. Let me just say this about Arch. What are the Saints doing? I am, I am Team Tank if the situation is extreme enough. Of course, I support the Pittsburgh Penguins tanking when they tanked because it yielded 66 Mario Lemieux. If you're the Saints, if you were ever going to tank, you do it to get Archie Manning's grandson, where Peyton and Eli grew up in the bayou. It's like, I can't imagine why they took Tyler Shuck. I can't imagine why they would try to win a game. They can say whatever they want about in the family, like Arch is going back to school. I know Arch, and he's a student, and he's a Manning, and he's going to get his degree and all that. No, he's not. None of the Saints can take him first overall. They're not going to take him, right?
No, I mean, there were so many. I mean, obviously the Browns are the quarterback thing. If you don't have a quarterback, you have nothing. But if there's a quarterback on the horizon who has a better chance of being something, you want that guy. You don't want, the Browns quarterback room is the most insane thing. And by the way, when Shedeur threw those 2 touchdown passes in the preseason game, those were narrow windows. And it was like, and the whole thing is like, he's very accurate. And then, they're like, yeah, he's going to make the roster. And you're like, shouldn't you try one of these guys? Like, what's the point of rolling the dice to the Cam
I think it's the
Ward
most insane.
And then it's like
among
Joe
the most
Flacco.
insane decisions to go with Flacco in this spot.
What are you doing?
You going to the Super Bowl with Flacco? No, then why would you possibly do that? When this season is about is evaluating is Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur maybe the answer? Yeah.
And the thing about watching Jackson Dart for Spaghetti's Giants is there is the possibility that not just that you've started the development, but that he's already better than the alternatives. Mm-hmm. Win-win. Hey, Dable, you keep your job and you have a quarterback for the future. So I just I don't understand any of the stopgap old man with the very low ceiling. We could go 7-10. Who cares?
It's just so weird the energy behind it that people will come at me about. Like, what are you talking about? Obviously, you got to go with Flacco. Haven't you seen it? I mean, you underrate Flacco. No, I think it's irrelevant. Who cares what Joe Flacco? Obviously, I've gone on and on about this with it on this show about Aaron Rodgers. Unless Aaron Rodgers is getting you to the Super Bowl, then what's the point? It is just like a throwaway season. It's just okay, great kind of a year. If you were the Buccaneers and you got Tom Brady and it yielded a Super Bowl, then I kind of sort of guess it was worthwhile. I know we've talked about the mercenary thing, and that meant more to Brady than it did to the Buccaneers organization. But the Browns and Steelers are not going to the Super Bowl. So then why are you starting the 40-year-old man in either situation instead of evaluating what you have? Oh, the Steelers can't because they don't have a viable number 2 because they decided to go all in on this. At least the Browns tried. At least they drafted some QBs who would appear to be viable options in the NFL. Will Howard as the 6th-round pick is not that.
Real quick, as we're talking about Ohio State, Texas, Notre Dame, I was thinking Will Campbell, one of the strong arguments for Will Campbell is started day one at LSU. You're like, okay, he's blocking NFL players as soon as he arrives. Cole Strange went to Tennessee Chattanooga. Who the fuck was he blocking? It's so insane. Like, it's a reach to take him in the first round, but also he hasn't blocked anybody in practice. He hasn't blocked anybody in a game. What the fuck? Like, such an insane draft pick. And the name is so perfect. Like, this is the Bill Belichick GM epitaph. Cole Strange.
Well, is it the epitaph? Because Frank Reich loses his first game. Obviously, I, no jive. I'll shoot straight with you. I didn't know Frank Reich was the head coach at Stanford, or if I had heard that, it went in one ear and out the other. I don't think I had ever heard that.
You didn't hear the famous story, that he was shopping in Costco and Andrew Luck called him. And he ran out of Costco. Andrew Luck was like, "Look, I took this job at Stanford." He's like, "I need you as head coach. I want like a quarterback person there. Like, please take the job." And Frank Reich, who was just like unemployed in Costco, left Costco after Andrew Luck called him. That was the story.
Well, either way, great start. Loses to Hawaii. Sheesh.
Japanese kicker that hit the game. That was an awesome game too.
You watched it, huh?
I watched the entire. I love after visiting Hawaii, that I've like adopted the Rainbow Warriors as like my second favorite.
I love it too, and in fact, I said to Jean-Claude Van Dameshek, Jr. at school now, I said let's give some serious thought here to Hawaii. And by the way, the Rainbow Warriors are building a new stadium. Yep. I don't know if you saw that, like a 25,000 seat stadium, which sounds sounds ideal.
The stadium they played in was obviously not Aloha Stadium, which is getting knocked down. So they're building the new stadium on the Aloha Stadium site. It'll be ready in 2029. But the stadium they played at was just like a field for like track and field. It was for like outdoor volleyball, and it held the NCAA Division I requires you to have 15,000 seats to be a Division I school, and they had to build on extra seats for this like athletic complex they're playing. So one of the smallest venues in all of college football.
I'd say do it out on the beach. Really lean into it.
Well, Aloha Stadium is in Pearl Harbor too, but it just rusted to death and they had to knock it down.
Well, I think that would be cool, like, because Hawaii has no chance. We get it, and the reasons why. It's when people talk about a team in London, it's like, well, look at Hawaii. Are they a viable football team in college? Obviously not, because there's some obstacles. If you turned it all into beach football games, I think everybody would sign off on that too, right? Like, you might, like, Bama might, they're too curmudgeonly to risk things, but I think most teams on the West Coast would be like, all right, yeah, this will count on our record, but it'll be beach football to accommodate the Rainbow Warriors. Who says no?
I don't know how Shek left out the bombing of the USS Arizona when he was comparing things to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
That would have been a big news story, and I bet it wouldn't even have surprised me. Yeah, I wouldn't even have been stunned.
Man, how long did we talk about World War II?
Doughboy Dave would be all right. Doughboy Dave would be out there getting the physical and everything else, and probably being just okay enough physically to get into the Army and being the first guy killed in the war. Like that would be my trajectory. It wouldn't be like, no, I don't have flat feet and I don't have some weird hereditary condition that allows me to sit out the war. They'd be like, sorry, man, you're just good enough. You're just good. Go ahead, fight. You're in the infantry. Like, but don't you know this isn't going to go well? And then before I finish that sentence, they'd be like, here come the Nazis. Let's go. And everybody would try to run away. And show-offs like Hench would be like 120 yards ahead of me before I even got to my feet, and then I would feel I'd feel the bullet, and that'd be the end of me. And then by the end of the war, people would be like, "You remember that potbelly Jew at the start of the war?" Like, no, what was his name? Like, yeah, I don't even remember him. Oh well, that would be my story.
Now, speaking of shipping out, so my 17-year-old Sophie, she's a senior in high school. Her boyfriend has left for college, Cooper Union in New York, and it's just been a fucking a waterfall of tears. Like, it's just a constant. It's just been like she's so bummed that he's not as bummed as she is. Like, she's like, he doesn't even. And then I have to explain, like, yeah, we don't have fucking nerve endings. Like, he could be shipping out to Vietnam. Like, it's like guys we're like, oh, well, I did that. And now I'm doing this. And I'm not going to, it's like, he doesn't even care. And I'm like, yeah, he doesn't care. I don't like, he's going to go fuck chicks in New York now. I don't know what, I don't know what to tell you.
This is what you said to your elder daughter.
Yes, of course I didn't say it.
Oh.
I'm like, when do you tell your daughter about men? You're like, oh my God. Yeah. It's like, he hasn't given me a second thought. Yeah. He hasn't given you a second thought. Here's how men are wired. Like, I was in LA, I was doing this. Now I'm in New York, I'm gonna be doing that. And it's like, she wants him tossing and turning. It's like, that is not how 18-year-old boys fucking process the world. But I know, Shek, you just dropped a girl off at school, right? Like,
yes, we did. It was very, it was emotional, exactly as I would have expected, and it was great. But she is a way more. The thing that gave me some peace was you just did anecdotally what apparently Kevin Hench did when he went off to UVM when he landed in Burlington, Vermont. Look out, ladies. Yeah, we did, and what I said to her was, there's this weird period. It's sort of like what I said. Like the human condition doesn't allow you to fully absorb how bad a situation is or how tough a situation is when you're in it. You're aware of it, obviously, but it's a week or a month or a year later that you look back and go like, man, that was really an effed up moment. And going to college isn't that. It's not, a traumatic event necessarily, but it is a stressful thing for people. And the distance between a summer's worth of grown up saying to you, like, going off to college, you excited? And the reality is like, no, I'm not excited. I'm nervous. Like, I don't know. It's an unknown. I don't know what's coming up here. But I said, and then there's like that. I don't know if you guys have picked up on it. I'm not the most social, charming guy in the world. And I survived. It was like the first week or 3 or 4. I remember that feeling still of like walking with your tray like a character in a movie into the cafeteria and being like, guys, mind if I sit here? Like kind of thing. And you don't know anybody, and it feels like everybody else here knows everybody. Why does everybody else have friends here but me? How's everybody come here with like 3 of their best pals from whatever high school they went to? And that's the feeling, but you get through it. And once you survive that period, you'll relish it. And I said, that's me doing that. She's way more, charming and everything and charismatic than I am. So she'll be fine.
She's way more socially adept than I was. But I will say this, and just hearing you, regale us with that moment in the cafeteria, it's like fucking knowing sports, loving sports. It's like, it's a shibboleth where you can enter any conversation. Like, it's like, okay, I'm a Patriots fan,
shibboleth,
but I'll talk to you about your team. That's there's literally no team that I can't talk to you about. I mean, I had this crazy conversation where I met a friend my age. I met his wife's dad. So this is a fucking geezer. And I started talking to him. He was a huge Bruins hockey fan in like the 50s and 60s. And I started talking about Bruins and Canadians from that era and the Canadian dominance before Esposito and Orr got there. And this guy was looking at me like, who the fuck is this guy? How does he know who Frank Mahavlich is? What's happening? And it is like, knowing sports, it's just it's a security blanket. It's like, oh my God, this weirdo and I just sat down at this cafeteria table. In 32 minutes, we're going to be fucking bros because I can name the entire Steelers defense from 1975.
Can you imagine now I can't, because obviously we park our cars in the same garage on that, and it has been my salvation, dozens and dozens of times, is like seeing somebody's hat and seizing on that kind of thing and yapping with them about that. But do you suppose our nerddom, because the sports nerddom preceded any sense of like, this ain't great for getting chicks kind of thing? Like, that you seized on sports by the time I assume you got to double digits, right? You were sports obsessive.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was the foundation of my relationship with my dad. It was
right.
Just, I mean, it was, I don't really have any memories. My dad was into sports. He passed down the Boston thing to me. we were watching games together. He was explaining stuff, and, that was our love language. And then I collected every card. I was completely obsessive with the card collections. And then I would create games, and my dad was kind of into like D&D, and like he would create dice games where I could play the 1977 Red Sox against the Yankees. Like, it was like, so no, as you guys know, my pie chart, sports takes up way too big a part of that, but it is definitely made making friends easy, like where, you can talk about the Islanders dynasty. There's nobody
literally we wouldn't be having this conversation, not just because we're doing a sports podcast, but I wouldn't have met Kevin Hench were it not for our stupid obsession with sports trivia. Not even trivia. I have to put a marker down on this point too. There are people who love sports for various reasons, like we've talked about. People love the math of it, the analytics people. I love the visuals of it, the aesthetics of it. That has always lured me, blue, gray skies and everything else. There's also people who love the trivia of it. They love it as this game, like they can go on Jeopardy and do well, where sports are concerned. I have to say, I don't think that's us. I don't think that it's a matter of it being some sort of parlor trick that we can name, Super Bowl MVPs or anything like that. I think that is the offshoot of our sincere obsession with sports. We're not dorks, except that we are dorks. And if we weren't so sports dorky, would we be better human beings as we sit here right now? Eddie Spaghetti, you weigh in here, because I do not think that your head is as tormented by what happened in 1983 as it is for me and Hench. We obsess over something that happened forever ago.
Yeah, obviously, 1983. I mean, I was negative 9 years old then. The thing with me with sports is that I'm in a weird crossroads now, because the Giants have been bad for so long, but then some other teams like the Yankees and Notre Dame have gotten to the precipice and they've lost. So I'm like, they're good, but they lost. So I'm tormented lately, where people are always like, oh, let's watch sports, like this, that. Or even like, I was just home recently just to visit my dad post knee surgery, and he's like, oh, let's watch this. And like, I was happy to watch Stanford, Hawaii, for example, but like seeing the Red Sox whip the Yankees, I'm like, I'm done with this. Like I'm such a movie and TV show guy now. So we're going to give this college football season a shot. I'm not really excited about the Rangers. The Giants are, as Hench was pointing out a couple weeks ago, like the ascension for your NFL team does feel a lot better. But I'm just, this Notre Dame Miami game, I do think Notre Dame will win like 34-20-ish for a number of reasons. But it could be a tough game, and it's probably one of their toughest game of the regular season.
Well, if you lose, that's right. That's what I don't love about it, obviously, to wrap it up, is in any season prior, at least to last year, if Notre Dame lost to Miami, that would be it. They would not make the playoff. There wouldn't be a path for them to get into a legitimate spot where you could make a case, oh, they're the best team in the country. Now they can lose this one, and it probably, if they run the table, they still get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I like that you've given Notre Dame an ultimatum for this year, where you're going to give them. You should do that with your new wife. Hey, look, I'm not saying how it's going to go, but like you're being watched. Mm-hmm. You have a year to delight me, and then we may have to move on.
Hench mentioned a college I'd never heard of, and then said a team where his daughter's boyfriend now is. One and two. What was that insane word you said?
Shibboleth.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Okay, you're the fucking Jew on this podcast. Like, why? I don't understand.
Oh, that's Yiddish.
Why am I explaining?
Well, I don't know what that
is. And you've never heard of Cooper Union?
No, I don't know.
My cousin went there. Good. Is he an engineer?
The Abraham Lincoln speech at Cooper Union about emancipation. Like, this is the thing, Shek.
How great that it was a union and he was on the union side. I love that.
Obviously I know way too much about sports, but I didn't have it fucking block out real knowledge like you. Like, you're like, you know so much about sports, and then you go like, don't get him in any other Jeopardy categories. This guy's a fucking idiot.
You want to talk about Swayze action movies in the 80s?
Exactly.
I'm your guy. What are you talking about?
I was actually thinking about that very thing. And I know you got to roll, but we'll wrap it up here. But they've started showing fucking wrestling highlights on SportsCenter. Have you seen this?
Mm-hmm.
No, but are you about to wrap it all up and go full circle and say, wrestling, I don't care about it?
I don't fucking care about wrestling, obviously. And I don't care about bad movies that you watch because they're bad. And as I look back on the way our culture has evolved, like I just feel like I missed. I should have pretended to hate watching Roadhouse and The Iron Sheik or whatever. Like I should have just pretended to be dumber, like, because that's where everybody is. That's where everybody is. Like,
I agree. Listen, that's fine. And I think it's hysterical that we do land on Hench announcing a thing that millions of people love. And like, I don't care about it. So stop talking about it.
Wrestling on SportsCenter. This is for sports. This is for sports. Don't show the fucking Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on SportsCenter.
I get it. All right. I get that. But the one thing that does offend me, do you think this is the same thing as like our pal Dratch getting on me like, oh, you only listen to Built to Spill because it's a hipster band? Like, why would I drive around in the car alone listening to music I don't like? Who am I getting with that one? Like, who am I fooling? Do you think I am not sincerely tickled by the relationship between Brad Wesley and the best cooler in the business? Do you think I do that because, like, as a lark to trick myself? Like, Dave doesn't actually think this is funny. He's just doing that for some ulterior reason that somehow pokes at Kevin Hench. Like, what the hell? What goes on in your brain? Why would I watch
listen?
I
do wonder, when adults are watching adult men in tights pretend to wrestle each other. I do wonder, what is the sensation that grown men who went to college are having watching this? And is it all, I just want to be part of the collective, so I am going to pretend to like this because I'm not retarded. And I'm, so I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're a grown man. What are you watching? What is happening right now?
All right, whether I agree or not.
It's like, no. The Macarena is my favorite song of all time. I like the Macarena. Like, what are you fucking talking about? This whole thing is novelty. It's not a sport. It's not a play. It's not a movie. It's nothing. And it's like, oh, yep. All your friends love it. All your friends with college degrees love wrestling.
I get what you're saying, but wrap it up here for us, Eddie Spaghetti. You are the judge. When it's all said and done, if somebody found this podcast in a well in a decade and they put it in their ears, who was more offensive ultimately? Who said more offensive things? I think it was Hench, and it's not even close.
I mean, we did gang up on you in the 9/11 stuff. We did
right. I didn't say anything. I didn't
no.
support. I didn't say any. I didn't give one note of support to it.
No, I mean,
that would be sad if Jessica McClure was down in the well and she doesn't know how many days she has to live, and what they lower down to her is this podcast. Here, Jessica.
Oh, I hear we're all the rage at Cooper Union.
At least she'll be entertained for an hour. I will say before we wrap up,
shibboleth is a phrase or word that only the tribe understands. So you can say a shibboleth and that's what sport, like, so I go, everyone knows Mean Joe Green, but if I say Andy Russell, then I'm cool.
I got you. Okay. I got you. You're not in a Shonda, as it turns out. Go ahead, Spaghetti. Wrap it up.
A 20-second, in case of our listeners want to put some money down on the college games this week, and I'll give you reasons why I feel strongly about Notre Dame. If you want to lay the 2.5, I believe they're favored even on the road.
I'm fine with that. You're talking about double-digit wins.
Yeah, but I'm saying the reason why I'm saying this is we talk about Cam Ward. Every teammate that Cam Ward played with did not make an NFL roster. So either drafted from Miami or signed as free agent, did not make an NFL a 53-man roster. So it shows you that he was the one-man band there. They're not developing talent there, which leads into Mario Cristobal's record versus ranked teams, not very good. Marcus Freeman's record versus ranked teams is very good. I think Carson Beck thing, transferring, he has that quarterback disease in college that we've seen where they get worse as each like start and each year goes by, which is never a good sign. Reversing Notre Dame starting CJ Carr over Kenny Minchie. He's a redshirt freshman. That means because they love him and his arm talent. This guy's like an arm and a half throwing the deep ball, but they don't really need to. Why? Because they have a guy named Jeremiah Love who is going to be in the Heisman race and one of the best players in college football. I just think Notre Dame's personnel, the matchups, their defense is nasty and should be one of the best in the nation again. I just don't think Miami has the talent to hold up, and Carson Beck will turn the ball over. So I think Notre Dame should win this game handily.
Wait, is he literally like Jim Abbott? He has an arm and a half.
Yeah, this guy. I mean, he's the best. It's my way of saying that probably the best, or I should say, the most talented, like non-transfer quarterback Notre Dame had. Maybe Jimmy Clausen for sure, but maybe since like Brady Quinn. So it's a lot of people in the Notre Dame community are very excited about this.
Well, I hope you don't lose a thumb betting on Bill Belichick's UNC. Hail the pit. Smoke them if you got them.